AVC YouTubers, thanks for stopping by. Tony's LPs are us. I'm Tony. Welcome to my channel. Really appreciate you stopping in. And I'm going to get this out of the way right away. I really appreciate all the subscriptions, all the likes, the comments. We read every comment. I try to respond to every comment, even the negative comments. I get once in a while, you get a person who may be having a bad day, because my videos are usually, you know, they're all my opinion. They're usually fun. I think they're fun. In my opinion, they're fun. And once in a while, you get someone out there who's not happy, doesn't like your opinion. But like I said, it's only my opinion. So I read all the comments, positive and negative. But I would say 99.9 are really great comments, and I really made a lot of good colleagues. I met a lot of people out there, a lot of friends, and in particular, one good colleague and one friend, VC channel, Kenny's AUDIOPHILE record reviews. Kenny's AUDIOPHILE record reviews. Check out that channel. He gives you his honest, unbiased opinion on jazz records, fusion, even vocalists, male vocalists, female vocalists, and he's got such a nice way of doing it. He has in my opinion, a great channel, and it's a pretty well-established channel in the vinyl community. So Kenny, hi Kenny, hope you're watching. But Kenny inspired me. I was watching his video actually today, and I jumped on this inspiration, as inspiration should hit you like a lightning bolt, and you should act on it. You know, those who hesitate are lost. So anyway, Kenny was doing something on his best 3 legendary jazz albums, or something to that effect. You could find it. It's one of the most recent uploads, but all his stuff is good. So, but anyway, what he did was he showed 3 records, and he showed one record that it was a John McLaughlin album. I'm not sure if it was which one it was. I don't know if it was a Mary Vishnu or just a McLaughlin. I think it was a Mary Vishnu jazz fusion album, and it had excessive ring wear. And he said, you know, the ring wear is there. It's obvious that it has a ring wear jacket, but he said the record is excellent. You know, the record's VG plus the excellent or whatever. No problems with the vinyl. And I said to him, and I coined a phrase on his comments: it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that ring. And that's inspired by Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong, one of my favorite tunes that they collaborate on. It don't mean a thing, in parentheses, if it ain't got that swing. That's one of the greatest all-time Duke Ellington pen songs, and for me anyway. So thanks, Kenny. So what I've done is I'm showing a bunch of albums that I picked out. Now, out of my huge collection, I don't really have a lot of albums percentage-wise that have ring wear, but I am going to show you ring wear. And what ring wear is, for those of you who don't know it. And later on, I'm going to tell you how to eliminate or prevent, not eliminate, but prevent ring wear from encroaching on your expensive, passionate, expensive, rare album jackets. And it affects the jacket, not the record. Ring wear is on the jacket. And what ring wear is, it's basically the visible imprint, like the circle imprint of the record on the jacket. And it could be a indentation. It could actually have the coloring rubbed off on the jacket. And what causes that is packing your records too tight. Some records or some jackets are more susceptible to it. Depends on the color of the jacket, more susceptible. But if you pack your records too tight over a period of years, and with fluctuations of climate, you will get ring wear. But it doesn't happen if you do certain things, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of this video. Common sense things, nothing that you need to buy. Well, you do need to buy some things, but nothing that's overly. It's not like you're buying cables for $5,000 to make your system sound 2% better. It's not none of that. Although I do believe in cables that will make your system sound better, but that's for the experts. So anyway, thanks, Kenny. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show albums. They're not in any order. Like I said, I picked out a lot. And again, ring wear is that visible imprint of the record. Now, here you have Emerson, Lake and Palmer, the first record that's just being reissued on MoFi. You can see ring wear. Ring wear also happens on the back of the record. Here you have the worst of Jefferson Airplane, you can start to see ringwear there around the corners. Now, ringwear is preventable in most cases, but over the course of years, like some of these records that I've had in my collection, I probably bought them with ringwear 30 years ago. So ringwear could occur quickly, but normally it will occur over a long period of time. Now here you have the beginning of ringwear, which is, see on top and on the bottom, Country Joe and the Fish, fun record. You don't see this too often on Vanguard. Chicago, black cover again. There's the ringwear. Now these records that I'm showing you, the majority of them are excellent to near mint. There may be a few VGs in here, but for the most part, reason I pulled them out is because the vinyl is pristine, or VG plus and up, sound great, no problems. I keep my records in usually if it's a more rare record or a new record, I put them in a MoFi sleeve. Here's one that's susceptible. I think I have 2 copies of this that have the same ringwear. So is this preventable? Maybe not. Maybe it's just the lamination on here, but that's the ringwear. Here's another one, which is Argent. You don't see that too often. Records immaculate. You have ringwear. A great band that I love, Bram Tchaikovsky. This isn't my favorite album of them, but here you could see ringwear. And that's the term of the day. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that ring. Here is, okay, we're going back to a different pile. I took out a lot. They're in no specific order, but I wanted to do a cross-section, all genres. Ringwear does not have any favorites. Ringwear will be folk, jazz, blues, rock, punk, funk, soul, disco. Ringwear does not discriminate. Here is a great record, greatest hits of Dion and the Belmont, the Dion years. And I hope you could see the ringwear on this record. Ringwear on the back of the record. So, and what ringwear is that for years or decades of being pressed, the record, if the jacket is tight, you'll get more susceptible to ringwear. So if that jacket is a tight jacket, usually gatefolds don't have ringwear, although those Allman Brothers are gatefolds, so it's just that particular record. So anything that's being pressed, the record, the vinyl, will start to try to protrude into that cardboard, and it's amazing that you actually will get ringwear. Here is a ringwear starting. I've had this record for years. My friend Jimmy gave me this record years ago. He was getting rid of his vinyl. That's only the beginning of ringwear. Here you have an oldie but goodie, the Beach Boys Today, and you can see ringwear on the front and on the back. This is also, I should have brought this out in the beginning, I'm also going to do a ringwear tag. So I hope that you VCers out there, all my friends out there, new VCers is a great way to get subscriptions. We're going to do a ringwear tag where you show me 20 albums or 15 to 20 albums that the vinyl is excellent, but the jacket is VG because of the ringwear. If you're going to rate these records as far as the covers go, they are not VG plus, they are not excellent, they are not near mint, they're VG because of that ringwear. So we're going to do a ringwear, I'll put it in the description. We are going to do a ringwear tag, and I hope you you play along, and I hope that people watching will watch these folks that do it, and I will tell you which ones do it if they contact LPs or us, and we'll see. But I forgot to put that out there. That was my intent, was to get other VCers involved. I've never seen a ringwear video. Here is a Hall & Oates, and you can see this, the Hall & Oates part, and the voices are embossed, and sometimes that'll add to ringwear, but you can see on the top of this white jacket ringwear, and ringwear is also on the back cover. Here's one, Dan Hill, through the If Dream Had Wings, and Dan Hill passed away recently a few years ago. You may not know Dan Hill. Dan Hill had a few hits, great singer-songwriter. Here's an oldie, Bananarama, Bananarama. That's excessive ring wear. This is a thinner jacket so that the record is able to push out and try to escape what you want to escape if you were basically stuck in between two pieces of cardboard. Here's a great one. Upfront Records, a budget record, but somehow they got Chuck Berry's all-time hits, and that's excessive ring wear. You can see that's a black cover. Usually you'll get more of the black jackets. In my case, here's a great oldie but goodie, Marianne Faithfull. She just passed away not too long ago. She didn't pass away from ring wear. She passed away from old age. Don't know if she had any illnesses or whatever, but we wish her the best wherever she is. So Marianne Faithfull, a lot of ring wear. I think certain jackets that were pressed early 60s, 70s, maybe the way they're pressed, and just through the years, you'll get excessive ring wear. Here's one with another Marianne Faithfull. You see the ring wear. Now, these records are VG+. They're not pristine, but they're VG+. Here's one of my early first records I ever bought. The Foundations, Build Me Up Buttercup. There's two covers of this. This is one cover with the buttercup, and that has ring wear. Here's a ring wear that's on the back. Paul Butterfield ring wear. I believe there's some ring wear on the cover, but you may not be able to see it in this light. Here's a good one, Richie Havens. This is a double record, ring wear. Record is excellent. This is a great album, Richie Havens, 1983. This has a number of Beatle tunes. I met Richie. He signed a few records for me. He's very nice. This has the insert. Richie Havens was a unbelievable, humble talent. I think he was from the New York area, but he did a lot of Dylan. He covered Dylan, covered the Beatles, did his own things, but had a special way of playing the guitar, special tuning that cannot be duplicated. Here's another one, the Water Lily, Priscilla Herdman. You can see the ring wear is coming through. And that's the record. The record's in a regular sleeve, and you can see that it's starting to even show through the inner sleeve. Here's another one, Humble Pie, oldie but goodie. You see ring wear. This is starting ring wear, and that has black ring wear because I had it next to my Emerson, Lake and Palmer's Works 2, which is a black, either a double or a triple record. So somehow the paint or the ink ran off and got onto the white one. Here is another oldie but goodie, Bo Diddley, Got My Own Bag of Tricks. Excessive, I would call this excessive ring wear. Also on the back, and this record, it's up there in age. Here's another Paul Butterfield with the ink rubbing off from ring wear. You can see the ring wear. Here's a Boston, which is one of the newer records from 75, 76. And this is susceptible to ring wear. It's a thin jacket, thin Columbia cardboard, and you could see excessive ring wear. So it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that ring. And what I'm telling you, all my VC watchers out there, the guys who have VC channels, the girls who have VC channels, all the folks, let's do a tag. Show me 15 to 20 of your records that are great records on the inside, but on the outside, they're only VG because of ring wear. Here's a really good example of old ring wear. The Yardbirds' Greatest Hits on Epic. This one really rubbed off quite a bit. This is one of my favorite Beach Boys albums, Surf's Up. So I hope you could see that on the camera. Here's another one, a great copy, a mono copy that's in, I hate to brag, but it's probably excellent. Not near mint, but that middle, that isn't gold mine standard, but we do use it on eBay. If you're rating records on eBay, eBay gives you another rating grade, and this is excellent. It sounds really good. You could see someone put their name on it with the tag, but this has ring wear. This is an old record from 66, right? Here's a Beatles with ring wear, original Capitol. Now ring wear could also be on the front of the jacket. That could actually cause ring wear from rubbing onto records in your collection. Here's a Beatle that has excessive ring wear, and that's basically because of this jacket. Beatlemania, ring wear. Now, how do you prevent ring wear? Well, you prevent ring wear from what I told you initially is to, not keep your records too tight. And if you have a lot of records, you don't have a lot of space. Sometimes you start to pack them in there and ring wear. What can prevent ring wear, I think, is more of a modern, maybe the last 20 years, are plastic sleeves. These plastic sleeves that you put over your record. You like these sleeves. This will help you prevent ring wear. So if you use these sleeves to protect your jackets, they don't cost a lot. Maybe 15, 10 cents each. Depends on how many you buy. If you use these sleeves and you don't pack your records in, you'll keep the the chances of getting ring wear down to a minimum. And if you live long enough, you'll probably get ring wear, because my records are old. I've had these records for a long time. Now, I think a lot of it has to do with the cardboard and the ink. And as you can see, Rolling Stones, Hot Rock, 64 to 71. So this is from 71, 72. So you see the age, and it has ring wear. Here's one that the record's near mint. I actually put it in a MoFi. As you can see, one of my favorite Laura Nero records, the first songs, and you can see excessive ring wear on this, on back and front. This is a good record. It's probably VG Plus. Kiss, because it's black, I think it actually protrudes. When it protrudes, it rubs, and that ink, which is probably not really expensive litho. It might be a litho. I know Mazzy would know all that stuff, but the lithograph or the ink is actually rubbing off, and that's a really good example of ring wear. Here's another good example of ring wear. Is this Little Richard? I bought this with the ring wear. So if you see a record with excessive ring wear, you're probably getting it at a good price. But of course, the most important thing is, that's what Kenny said, the most important thing is what's inside. What's the vinyl sound like? What's the vinyl look like? And here, last but not least, John Mayall, great double record. The great John Mayall, who just passed away a few years back at the age of 95 or 90-ish. And you can see the ring wear. So that's it. So to prevent ring wear, basically, don't pack them too tight. Never stack your records this way. This will cause warping and cause ring wear. And when they're on a shelf, like how I have them behind us, when they're on a shelf, don't try to pack them in too tight, because that will form ring wear. Like I said, some record jackets are more susceptible to ring wear than others. Usually it's the darker black jackets that you will see the ring wear. Ring wear is also can be on the back of the jacket. It's not just the front of the jacket. So keep them in plastic, keep them loose. Don't stack them on top of each other, obviously. And that's it. So I hope the VCers out there, I'm going to list it on the front, my tag, my show your ring wear. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that ring. Okay? So I'm coining that. I'm using it right now. I don't think anyone's ever said it. So thanks a lot. And again, if you haven't subbed to Tony's LPs or Us, please consider subbing. And here's another example of a bad ring wear. VG cover, VG Plus inside. So that's what you want to look for. Ring wear. Ciao. Thank you very much. Stay well.